Good morning and welcome to your Friday this morning.
Do you know what? You're a lot cheerier than you were last night.
You know what it is? Those trick-or-treaters, they're knocking the door at 11 o'clock. They're going to wake up the baby.
He is such a Scrooge. I tell you what, he's getting old before his time.
Just thinking about the baby.
Now, we are here today giving the lovely Eamon and Ruth a well-deserved break. So we're taking the reins, hopefully, and guiding you through today's show along with a little help from this lot.
There's nothing wrong with a big ear.
I feel like you've been very well behaved, but you guys know what you need to be doing.
And as you saw, Liz McClarnon will be helping out with some pets in need of a bit of TLC for our Take a Moment campaign. Rochelle and I will also be doing our bit later in the show as well.
Well, plus, they say the owners look like their pets.
I hope I don't look like our dog.
No, you're all right, actually. But Marlene Howes, she has 40 to choose from.
Come on, everyone, come on. Where is everybody? Okay, good. Who takes care of me? Ocean? Do you take care of me? Do you?
Wow, that's a lot of cats.
I'm nervous. I'm not going to lie. This is going to be interesting. I'm scared of cats. I'm so scared.
You'll be fine.
I'm holding it down.
Marlene loves her feline friends so much, she even chose them over her fella. We'll be meeting her and, to be precise, 15 of her cats at 11:30.
How's she going to remember their names?
Don't know.
I'm not
to
gonna.
ask her.
And to celebrate Diwali on Sunday, Michelin-starred chef Atul Kutcher will be cooking up a food fit for a festival at midday.
As always, we want to hear from you. Jenny Faulkner is holding fort in the hub. Morning, Jenny.
Morning.
Morning, guys. Now, grabbing our attention today is the news that 2/3 of women will try to transform a new partner's appearance in the hope of creating their Mr. Right. So often efforts will start in the first 6 months of the courtship and see time and money invested to create a new man in the mould of a favoured celebrity hunk. Okay, so the top three: David Beckham, Gary Barlow, Dermot O'Leary, Marvin. Not even in the top 10.
You're not there,
Right,
babe.
I can't
Justin
believe I didn't make
Timberlake.
it.
That's because I'm too busy trying
Yeah,
to make
Duke.
him look like Beckham.
Are you?
Yeah, right. She made me lose the deep V's, to be fair.
I did.
See, this is what I was going to ask, if you had actually changed Marvin as well.
Well, just the deep V's
I'm
went,
just
that was
not a
it.
fan of the boy cleavage.
Anyway, Jenny, you carry on.
And Marvin, I thought you wrote it really well as well.
Thanks, Jenny.
Anyway, okay, what do you think? Can you, or even should you, ever try to change your partner? Also, it's X Factor again this Saturday, and we want to know which act you think will go this week. Who do you tip for the top? Also, which judge is doing the best this year? Maybe you're a Mrs. O fan, or does Louis get your vote? We want to know what you think. Email this morning at itv.com. You can also tweet us or have your say on our Facebook page. Send your comments and questions before midday today for a chance to get them on air, and I'll see you later.
Thanks, Jenny. And to round off this morning's Pathway to Parenthood week-long special, fertility experts Robert Winston and Zita West are standing by to answer your questions in about a quarter of an hour.
So there's tons to get through today, so make sure you don't miss a thing. Here's today's lineup. So let's get started. Here to guide us through today's papers is broadcaster Nick Ferrari and actress Brooke Kinsella. Morning, guys.
Hello, good morning to you.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, thank you, good. And a busy day in the newspapers.
Yes.
We reflect on some of those. And one that's the front page of The Sun. And I think your viewers are going to get angry the minute they see this, because it's been reported that, although not confirmed, but it's not rare that prison authorities don't, high-profile prisoners, they often don't confirm, but it is reported that the mother of baby Peter Tracy, has been released. This has been widely predicted in the newspapers. It would appear that this has happened. She was jailed in 2009 for 5 years. So immediately the viewers now, well, hang on a second, she hasn't... But what you do is you allow for time spent on remand in detention, so that is added. So it would appear she's been released. No new identity, a new haircut, a new name. She'll be moved to a hostel 150 miles from where she was serving time in Durham. A couple of key issues that come up. One, does she get to see the other children that she had? Remember, she had surviving children. She's 32. What if she was to fall pregnant again? She's had children by a couple of dads, so what would happen to that baby? And also the whole idea, this is also the week when Sharon Shoesmith, who was the boss of Haringey Council, that was the local authority that looked after baby Peter, She has finally won an employment case, and it is believed she's getting somewhere in the region of £600,000.
Wow.
What you can certainly question is the timing. A week when the nation has had to come to terms with a woman who, and this is what politicians say, this is a reward for failure. It was on her watch that baby Peter suffered this torture. She gets 600k and the mum's let out.
I mean, the thing is with the new identity as well, people, there are cases, there are quite a few actually, where millions of pounds have been spent protecting these people on a whole new life. That's not happening here. As Nick said, she's going to get a haircut, possibly a new name probably. She's, I think, one of the most recognisable women. I don't know how long she's going to be anonymous for.
I think so. She's very, very recognisable, isn't she? And
I mean, do we think, Nick, that she served enough time in the first place?
No, I don't. But you can't go back over that. It was a minimum of 5 years. She has just about come in. I mean, again, the point can be made. It's almost like they've waited for the first opportunity to release it. Now, when the judge says a minimum, it does what it says on the tin.
Yeah.
She could have done 7. She could have done 10. That might have been harsh. So I do think there's a lot of questions about it. Would it have been so terrible to wait a month or two to keep it away from the Sharon Shoesmith aspect of the case? Because it just seems even more insulting.
It's a little
for everybody.
close, isn't it?
I would say.
Yes.
I would say.
Right, I want to talk about this as well. On the front page of the Mirror, hacking bombshell.
Yeah, so this is this case that's going to... Well, they say it goes on 6 months. Surrounds the former chief executive of News International newspapers, which was responsible for the News of the World and, of course, closed down The Sun and the Times Group. And we hear that her and 7 other people are before the courts, charged with all sorts of events concerning hacking and conspiracy. Now, the key that we see in the front page here, and here's the Mirror, not surprisingly getting in as much as it can, because remember, they're the bitter opponents of The Sun, so they're getting Murdoch in the headline, and they're getting Cam, as in David Cameron. They were going to force that headline, even if it took them about 25 lines. They were going to tell you that Murdoch's chiefs, and there's Rebecca Wade, the flame-haired former boss, 6-year fling with man, and there he is, the little insert, Andy Coulson, former editor of the News World, who became Cam, as in Cameron, spin doc. Important for the Mirror to get that across. Now, a fascinating legal point here, very briefly. Why should the affair, because they don't dispute it, why should their affair actually come out in court?
I was going to say that,
And this is the reason. Because they're up for conspiracy. And the barrister was able to argue that if we can show the level of attention and closeness between these two people, then that he would argue, they both deny, he would argue, would speak to the fact that if they were operating at that level, it could be seen that they would operate at that level professionally. So if you're that type personally, you could be that type professionally. That's what the barrister is arguing. They will subsequently deny charges.
I mean, she says in the letter that's released, I confide in you, and that's what, I mean, is it a lot of dirty laundry is often aired in cases like this? Unnecessary sometimes. What does this have to do with whether they're guilty on phone hacking? But that's what the prosecutor will argue. You know, well, they know each other. How well do they know each other? Did they confide in each other?
And it's like pillow talk, isn't it? It's the famous old thing. You know exactly what goes on at my work, and someone close to you usually does.
But you're not appearing at the Old Bailey yet, I don't think.
No.
Not just yet.
Not just yet, so we're okay.
No, none of that involved over here.
So, Nick, let's move on to a story that I broke this morning about the firefighters that are planning to strike this weekend. Obviously, being bonfire weekend, it's going to be a very, very busy weekend for these guys. But obviously, you know, when they become firefighters, they're extremely passionate about their job. So it's almost a bit of a moral dilemma for them to choose to strike this weekend.
So, you know, it's a shame that it's got to this point. It's a shame that they've chosen this time to do it. It is half-term, it's bonfire weekend, and there's going to be disappointed people up and down the country. However, it's been 3 years, these negotiations about pensions, and, you know, watching the interview this morning, that they feel that it is a last resort. But as you said, you sign up to do this job to protect the public, and at a time when they're most needed this weekend, they can't do what they want to do.
I mean, let's just say, and I'm sure we all agree, they are a fantastically brave body of medicine, and we salute what they do. I've just spoken to one of the union leaders on my radio show. They said, look, we're deliberately not taking Saturday night off, because that's when most of the displays are. But we have to get our point across, as Brooke rightly says.
If all the ones that don't do their bonfire tonight are obviously going to do it tomorrow and Sunday, so, you know, the risk then increases as well. They'll be spread thinly across the country.
I think the timing is very questionable. Very questionable.
I do.
But they would say, look, we're there on the big night, so we are carrying out our duties. But listen, let's hope nothing happens. That's the most important. For God's sake, if you're watching this now, take care tonight.
Please, please.
It's a 5-hour strike and it starts at 6:30 p.m, so take care.
Right, moving on to something a little bit more light-hearted. Why, Brooke can help me here, why a woman loves to make over her man. Page 13 on the Daily Mail.
it's normally the other way round with me. I think I spend 99% of my time in my pyjamas, so they're probably trying to remake
Don't
me.
we all?
No, you do. You have your conversations with your girls. I'm sure you do, and they say,
Yes.
"I met this guy, and he's so lovely, but you know what? I can change that." And it's apparently at the start of their relationships, 36% are embarrassed and ashamed to be seen with their boyfriend.
No.
Why are you with this person?
In the first place.
That baffles me.
Surely
That's normally how it ends with me. The statistic stays the same.
Brilliant. Don't worry, dear. There's none of those problems.
Am I okay? You embarrassed to be with me?
Sometimes. No.
I'm intrigued whether guys do it though. Do you sit there? Obviously, you're together
Yeah.
now, but did you back in and go? I met this girl, but I'd quite like to change
Tell
this
me.
about her.
No, actually, for me.
Popcorn.
What have you started?
But there was, as I said, you didn't used to like the man cleavage. So you spoke,
Yeah,
sort
but
of got rid
that's
of
a
that
little
one.
bit light-hearted.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think you stopped wearing them because you knew that I didn't really like them. I didn't tell you not to.
No, you're right. yeah.
Moving on before there's
Yeah, let's quickly move on.
I just think blokes are so happy to get a date. They just don't care that any woman shows an interest. They're so overjoyed.
Absolutely. Have you got this story up and down the country of what I've highlighted girls from Liverpool? They're most likely to wear a G-string, Brooke.
I
What's
love
all this
these
about?
polls. I don't know what they add to my life, apart from I'm full of useless facts now. It's a poll from John Lewis, I think, about lingerie. And, yep, Liverpool girls are most likely to wear a thong, which I think I then belong in Liverpool, apparently. Londoners buy the most push-up bras. Newcastle girls favour leopard print knickers.
Well,
That's what we learnt today.
Brooke, Rochelle's from Essex, so what do you think?
let's not even get into those stats, please. Not on
Yes.
television.
Viewers have got their own ideas. We'll just leave that there, I sense.
Let's leave it there. Now, Jenny is in the hub. What comments are coming in, Jenny?
Yeah, I won't tell you what Glasgow girls wear. Oh, no. OK, so we've got some comments coming in for the firefighter strike. Lots of people in support saying, Amy Vella, I'm in full support of the firemen. They save lives every day and should be appropriately paid for it. Kirby as well, I think it's sad they've had to go to these measures to get through to people, but I think they've picked the wrong nights. Obviously, the only way, though, to show how serious they are. Steph, isn't it highly irresponsible to strike and risk lives on the busiest week of the year? Surely for safety and people's lives, this should be postponed. Now, regarding changing your man into Mr. Right, Linda says, I married Mr. Tall, Dark and Handsome 38 years ago. He's still Mr. Tall, Dark and Handsome. And we have a text from a man. Alex says, I wouldn't care about changing my appearance for a woman as long as they're happy to pay for my new clothes, haircuts and grooming products. Keep your comments coming in.
That's a fair point. It is a fair point.
Very fair points. Listen, Nick and Brooke, thank you for coming in today.
Thank you very
Pleasure
much.
to see you as always.
Thank you.
Now, after the break, fertility experts Professor Robert Winston and Zita West are here to answer your questions. We'll be back soon.